to our 28th edition of Drive Chat. Drive Chat is a medium that we use to interview industry experts and to have expert opinion on various challenges that are facing the transport industry and, of course, others. And we're glad to be able to introduce today, and we welcome Bobby Shemmons, who is the founder of RNS Specialist and a director of EcoFlame Dynamics. Bobby, please join us and let's a chat about a few things that's happening in your industry.
Good afternoon, Eugene. Thanks for having me.
Hi there. Yeah, it's an absolute pleasure. Bobby, we've known each other, I think it's about 15 years or something like that. And you've always been somebody that's at the forefront of health and safety standards. Just before we go into the questions that we'd like to unpack, just give us a bit of your history. You were with DP World and before that Imperial.
Yes, that's correct, Eugene. I've been in transport for almost 25 years, going for 26. Started back in the day as a transport clerk, stamping some papers, and then eventually moved to bigger organizations. Worked for Grindrod before, and then lastly for DP World, where I was acting as the director for health and safety for the road freight division. That's a division that consists approximately out of about 4,000 trucks operating within sub-Saharan Africa.
So we could safely say that you know a little bit about trucks, eh? And a little bit about health and safety.
Not as much as you, Eugene, but
Yeah, but you know what, Bobby? You made a comment. You started off as a clerk. When you start in your own business, you do that all over again. Eh? But now let's get into it. We recently, I know we've supported it. You held a demonstration of a burnout on a tanker, and it was a literal tanker. But just share with us, why did you do that?
Eugene, yeah, that was an exciting day that happened on the 27th of March. The intention of that was to create a bit of awareness in the industry around a problem that I've noticed over the years, and that is specifically relating to truck fires, and also specifically with regards to the impact of tire fires. So yeah, it was an exciting day, as mentioned, very successful. We had some great partnerships there, Master Drive included. We had the likes of Xtire Global there. We had Stan Bezuidenhout, a very well-known member of the road safety fraternity, with his accident reconstruction abilities. And yeah, so well represented within the industry. Yes, we did burn a tanker, one of DP World's tankers that they sponsored. So thank you to them. Yeah, a very well represented day, and I think the intention of the day was well received, creating that awareness.
You've covered what you did, and in fact, all the conferences that I attend where they talk about safety, tire fires is one of the real problems because it's almost, and I say almost impossible to put out. So why is it important that you think that within fleets they should have a thorough understanding of how to deal with this problem?
Eugene, so for me, it was basically coming to the understanding of why these fires actually occur. That took years of looking at data and leading investigations as such. But it is important for operators to understand why these truck fires occur, because once you understand, you are able to start to build a strategy around how you mitigate these hazards. So also, when you start understanding what the source or what the cause of this fires are, then you can also start to evaluate whether the equipment you have is actually adequate in terms of combating these fires effectively.
When you look at it, do you think there's adequate attention paid to the right hardware, fire extinguishers, and training within fleets in order to prevent a mass burnout? Because when a truck, remember that burnout in Germiston where that tanker exploded, the consequences are disastrous. What can organizations do?
Yeah. So Eugene, just to answer your first question about do I think whether there's adequate hardware? Yes, I think in the industry there's adequate means and equipment available to operators to curb these types of events or to mitigate these. I think also it's a matter of awareness and training. unfortunately, we're sitting in an industry, if I can maybe just mention an example, for example, in the dangerous goods transportation industry, you're sitting with a regulation that regulates a certain type of fire extinguisher for that, which is 100% correct. But it may not be the most effective piece of equipment on the truck to combat a certain type of fire. For example, rubber, for example. So rubber burns at approximately 400 degrees Celsius. So the moment that rubber heats up and it starts to catch a light, there's an intense concentration of heat around the wheel. So you would need an extinguishing means that takes away that heat source, which is one of the pillars of your fire triangle. Your normal DCP or dry chemical powder doesn't necessarily take away the heat. It more focuses on the oxygen or the fuel source that it basically eliminates. So in most cases, when you use a DCP on a tire fire, you would find once it's depleted, your tire, because of the concentration of heat, would then reignite.
Yes.
And that's the problem that we're sitting with.
Okay. In fact, when I saw that demonstration, and please, we're happy to make available the videos, and you produced a great one, so we'll just take that as well. What was also of interest is you had some discussions there with some industry experts as well, but you showed there about pallets. I know that's not your baby, but pallets made out of disused or used tires. Maybe just a comment about that, Bobby?
Excellent initiative, Eugene. That's X-Tire Global, and the viewers are welcome to go and Google that on or type it into the browser. X-Tire Global. So what they do is they recycle used rubber or tires from the transport industry, and they make that or they mold that into pallets. That specific rubber mold contains its own fire retardant, so it also combats or mitigates your chances in case of a fire that you would actually lose the pallet itself. The lifespan of that pallet is significantly more than your normal wooden pallet. So it makes business sense if you look at your return on investment over the long term. Yeah.
Great. Can I just I've got two questions for you. The penultimate one. We had demonstration of a normal fire extinguisher used, and then you demonstrated the EcoFlame one. Just highlight, and I enjoyed the component about the Eco one. Just highlight some of the significant differences.
The EcoFire is a unique product. It's a product that EcoFlame just released on the 27th on that specific day. The fire extinguisher itself or the agent used is a combination of minerals and completely natural plant extract, so which makes it environmentally friendly and also non-toxic. So the extracts that's combined with a water source, so it's a water-based fire extinguisher, has the ability or alters the qualities of the water molecule, enabling the water molecule to penetrate much faster, quicker, and also ensure a better spread when you apply the EcoFire on a Class 8 type of fire. They have tested the EcoFire extinguisher on your Class 8, which is your solid combustibles. In other words, your rubber fires, your pellets, even on wildfires, but it's also been tested on fuel fires, which is your liquid dangerous goods, and it's also been tested quite effectively in terms of that.
Okay. I don't think we're going to tell the audience anything more about that. I think they should be talking to you and asking you to send videos of that, because from an environmentally responsible use, I thought it was really brilliant, and we didn't see everybody covered with white powder. So, Bobby, in conclusion, you bring to the party a wealth of information. How can your organization assist companies out there with the challenges that they face?
So Eugene, I've always had a passion for health and safety, especially in the transport scope. I understand the industry with many years of experience in that. So besides just fighting fires and providing a solution in terms of combating these fires, we also look at safety cultures and safety climate. I absolutely love digging and partnering with operators on understanding what the culture is in the business and, embarking on this journey to change this culture to a more safe and reliable culture and really truly unlocking the benefits of having a sound health and safety management system or process in place. And just looking at the benefits, I mean, morally, it is beneficial if you have a happy workforce that really experience a culture of care within the business, then any policy or any process that comes from management will be accepted and easily implemented. Your legal processes, it comes without saying. We don't want to be on the wrong side of the law. And then I think ultimately what the transporters want to hear is having a sound HSE system in place has financial benefits.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
There's a company in the UK, road safety is good business. And this health and safety is good business. So on that parting message, we're going to say goodbye to you. We'll catch up with you. For viewers, please, Bobby's contact information will be featured. So please reach out to Bobby. Thank you for joining us. And that concludes then our 28th edition of Drive Chat. And we look forward to seeing Bobby again. With that, drive safe.